Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap up. So, I did not do that well reading wise in November. Now, I feel like I have a little bit of an excuse because, like it was all very much so prep for the Reindeer Readathon, which is when you're seeing this video, it's now December, so it has begun. But up until that, November was very much so like a preparation month for the Reindeer Readathon. I had to send out all the emails to everybody. I had to package bookmark orders. I had to get ready for reading sprints and create like a reading sprint calendar and stay on top of the Discord. So there was a lot to like manage. And I mean, I don't know how many will be signed up as when December starts, but currently right now while I'm filming this video, we have 900. So like that's wild. I can't believe that there's 900 people signed up. This is like the most we've ever had in this readathon ever. So that's super, super exciting. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to the wrap up. I'm just babbling on about the Reindeer Readathon at this point. So I only managed to read 3 books in November, and one of them was a book that I had already started in October. So technically it's like 2.5 books. Actually, one of these books I started like months ago. So I would say it's only really 2 that I've read, but I have 3 books here I get to wrap up with you guys. So the first one is Bloodlike Magic. I finally finished this book. This one is a chunker. It is, I think it's just shy of 500 pages, which is a big book for me. And I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was this close to making it 5 out of 5 stars, but then at the very end of the book, the main character made some decisions that I personally just didn't think made sense. And yeah. And their reasoning even behind it didn't make sense. Like they tried to like explain the reasoning behind it, and I just felt that it was just no. Like if I was in that situation, I totally would have made the opposite decision that they made. And yeah. I understand that it was probably like the decision was probably made to go this way to progress the plot for a sequel, but I don't know. It didn't make sense to me the way it played out. I just didn't like it. So I gave the book a 4 star and took off 1 star rating because of that. Other than that, I loved it. I thought it was such a fun book. It's following along with this girl who's part of like a witch family, and it explains like the witch culture within Toronto and Toronto area. So like this book takes place in Toronto, but it's like more set in the future where technology and magic are kind of like intertwined, but a lot of people that aren't in the witch community don't really know about the magic. Only the witches and like their community know about the magic. And so this girl is going through her like calling. So when each member of the family gets to a certain age, they have a calling where they have to pass a test based on something that the ancestors give to them as like a trial. And once they pass this test, then they get their magic. And the main character, her task is that she has to destroy her first love. And so it's the story of her finding her first love and struggling with the fact that she needs to destroy the first love. The stakes are also that like if she does not complete it, her family loses all their magic. So there are pretty high stakes. And yeah, I thought it was really cool seeing Toronto in this like it kind of had like sci-fi to it because there was like tech aspects of it that were really cool where things were a lot more advanced. And yeah, it was just like it was a really cool way to like look at this like futuristic Toronto and how the different like cultures work together and different societies and communities work together in Toronto. I thought it was really cool. And then also like the history of all the different like witch families that were around. And yeah, I actually enjoyed like reading into it and learning about all these different families and all their different like quirks and things that they had going on. It was a fun time, and I really enjoyed the main character's relationship with their cousin. They all lived together in like this big house, and so she had a lot of family around her at all times, but she was really close with her cousin, and I enjoyed their like camaraderie that they had together and their understanding of each other. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, this one was pretty good. Like I enjoyed the storyline right up to the very end. I enjoyed it. And I would still read the sequel, even though I didn't like the ending of it. I would still read the sequel because I would want to see what is like gonna happen with all these characters moving forward. But it was fun. It had like it definitely has witchy vibes, which is great because I started reading this in November, so like just after Halloween. So I was still in like the witchy vibes mood, and yeah, it definitely delivered. Then I read Looker, and this is a thriller. So this is following a main character who is kind of developing this obsession with their neighbor who is a actress, and she is in like a lot of stuff, and so this person develops this obsession with the actress across the street, and so she's kind of like watching her all the time and just like observing different things that are happening in the neighborhood, also doing things that are affecting the neighborhood. And yeah, so you're in this person's head and you're just kind of like going along with their day-to-day life. And I personally didn't like this character at all. Like the main character of this book really bothered me, and I didn't care for them at all. So I only gave this book a 2 stars. It didn't do it for me. And the very ending was just so dumb. I was like, what? I can't say what happened because that would be giving it away, but I felt like it was a lot of lead up, and then something happens really quickly, and then it just ends, and that's it. And there's no resolution, there's nothing. Yeah, it felt like I was wasting my time reading this. Luckily, it was a very short book. Like it was less than 200 pages, so it's not like it was a huge commitment. But yeah, it was just rough because it was like I was reading about a character I had no desire to read about. They were kind of annoying, and yeah, it just wasn't a great book. So, meh. And then the last one I finished was Black, White, and Gray All Over. And this is a book that I've been reading progressively over like a couple months now. So I finally finished it. This is a true story following the life of a black cop who worked in Compton. So it's like talking about all the different stuff that they encountered while working in Compton, and then also not just Compton. Like it talks about their life before they have a job as a cop in Compton, and then a little bit after that too. So it talks about their life, and it was really interesting. There were a lot of things that they encountered that I would like not wish on anyone. Being a cop, I think they saw a lot of really dark things, and that's like it's rough. Like reading about that stuff in here, it was just very shocking to see that that was something that they almost saw on the daily. And so I cannot imagine being in that job. Like I could not imagine having a career like that where you have to constantly go into areas where you might get shot at and deal with things where people are injured, people are dead. Like, yeah, that is not the job for me. But it was interesting to read about this person and the way they dealt with that job and how it affected like their home life and just like their interactions with other people. Like it was interesting to see that. I would say that this book lists a lot of names, so it was really hard to keep track of like who was who, because they get into the nitty gritty of all the different coworkers that they have, and there are a lot of them because they go through like a lot of rotations at the police academy, at the actual job. Like there's a lot of different people named in this book, so I found it a little hard to keep track of all the different people. But that's just a minor thing. Other than that, I found the rest of the stuff very interesting. Yeah, so I would give this book probably like a 3 out of 5 stars. It was an average read. I generally, for nonfiction, don't like have super high ratings because nonfiction is not a genre that I typically gravitate towards. But I will say that this one, like, it kept my attention when I was reading it. I know I was reading it over a couple months, but like when I would jump back to it, it would pull me in for the little bouts of reading that I could get on this book. So yeah, I would overall give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. And that's it. That's all I read in November. Now I'm hoping to read a lot more in December because I want to get all those points for my team. So I'm going to be working hard to power through that TBR. Even though December is going to be a busy month for me, I'm going to do it. I'm pumped. I'm gonna do this. But anyways, that's all I read in November. Let me know what you read in November, and actually tell me in the comments down below what your favorite book that you read was in November. Because I always like hearing about everybody's like favorite books and what they're currently enjoying now. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.